The idea of a ghost hunt sparked in Aaron's living room amidst the flickering glow of a video game. His friend, Ethan, readily agreed, their shared thrill for the paranormal often leading them to deserted historical sites. This time, however, Aaron suggested a change of scenery instead of their usual haunt, an old war marker half an hour out of town. He proposed an ancient cemetery, just a few miles down the road. Ethan, always up for a new experience, enthusiastically concurred, knowing they'd need another pair of eyes, and with their mutual friend Caitlin out of town, Ethan called Brayden. Brayden, a recent convert to the thrill of ghost hunting, thanks to Ethan's contagious enthusiasm, was in. They met at the fanciest McDonald's in town, the late-night quiet of the restaurant a stark contrast to the impending adventure. It was well past midnight when they rolled up to the cemetery gates, the moon casting long, eerie shadows across the weathered tombstones. The main gate was chained, but a low point allowed them to slip through, a silent agreement passing between them. Once inside, the trio fanned out, their flashlights cutting through the oppressive darkness. Ethan, preferring to absorb the atmosphere of a new location before relying on his ghost hunting app, kept his device tucked away. He gravitated towards the back of the cemetery, where the graves grew sparser and the darkness deepened. Aaron took the middle ground, his gaze sweeping over the rows of forgotten names. Brayden, ever pragmatic, stuck to the graves closest to the entrance. Their exploration was abruptly cut short by Aaron's urgent whisper. He beckoned them towards a peculiar sight, two graves, enclosed within their own small rusted gate. Set apart from the rest, one was a standard headstone, the other remarkably small. Ethan, speculating they might belong to the graveyard's founders, was quickly corrected by Aaron. A chilling revelation followed. Aaron, his voice hushed with a mixture of dread and fascination, explained the true reason he'd led them to this specific cemetery. These two graves, research, he revealed, indicated a horrifying truth from the 1800s. A mother, accused of witchcraft, had been burned at the stake. Her infant, too, was deemed a witch and perished alongside her. The tiny headstone, a silent testament to this unspeakable tragedy, sent a shiver down their spines. Ethan felt a profound sadness, the sheer brutality of the act resonating deeply within him. After offering their silent condolences, they resumed their positions. Ethan found himself drawn back to the edge of the cemetery, where the manicured graves gave way to an open, desolate crop pasture. It was an expanse of pure darkness, a void that swallowed the beam of his flashlight after only a few feet. As he walked along the back perimeter, a faint, calm whistle drifted from the inky blackness. He paused, straining his ears, the sound vanishing as quickly as it had appeared. He called his friends over, recounting the unsettling experience. Brayden, ever the skeptic, snorted, "You think someone whistled at you." His dismissive tone did little to shake Ethan's conviction. He felt an inexplicable presence lurking in the darkness, a primal fear stirring in his gut. Aaron, however, believed him. They decided to wait, hoping the sound would return so all three could witness it. 10 agonizing minutes later, it did. This time, the sound was undeniably closer, clearer, emanating from the very edge of their flashlight beams, where light surrendered to the abyss. It wasn't a whistle. It was the distinct, soul-chilling sound of a woman sobbing, deep, guttural sobs that seemed to tear through the silence of the night. A paralyzing terror gripped them, a random woman, sobbing in the middle of a deserted crop field, miles from anywhere. It defied all logic. They stood frozen, unable to move, their hearts pounding in their chests. The sobbing abruptly ceased. A silence that felt heavier than the sound itself, as if they had been detected. The chilling realization dawned they couldn't see it, but it could see them. Aaron, his voice barely a whisper, croaked, "Guys!" Ethan and Brayden turned their eyes towards him, their faces illuminated by their flashlights. The terror etched on Aaron's face was unlike anything Ethan had ever witnessed. His eyes were wide with unadulterated fear, fixed on something beyond their sight. It was as if he was staring directly at the source of the sobbing, at something truly horrifying. "The witch," Aaron rasped, the words hanging heavy in the air. Panic clawed at Ethan's throat. Was it possible? Was Aaron actually seeing her, the witch, burned at the stake centuries ago? Brayden, usually quick with a sarcastic remark, was speechless, his face locked on the ominous void. And then, the most terrifying thing of all happened. A low, guttural snicker echoed from the darkness. Aaron was the first to bolt. A primal scream caught in his throat. Brayden and Ethan were hot on his heels, their legs screaming silently beneath them as they sprinted through the graveyard, past the weathered tombstones, towards the faint outline of the car. It was an awkward, silent dash fueled by sheer terror, their minds fixated only on escape. As Ethan fumbled with the keys, starting the ignition and pulling onto the deserted street, he blurted out, "Did you see her, Aaron? What did she look like?" Aaron, his breathing still ragged, shook his head. He hadn't seen her, not with his eyes, but he had felt her presence, a feeling so profoundly terrifying that he couldn't describe it. He had only seen fleeting images, an indescribable sense of overwhelming dread. Back at Aaron's house, as their frayed nerves slowly began to settle, they tried to rationalize what had happened. Ethan and Brayden, the perpetual skeptics, couldn't conceive of any logical explanation for a woman crying and then snickering in the middle of a desolate field. 30 minutes from civilization. It was utterly illogical. Further research into the cemetery only deepened the mystery. They discovered a rare, historical report of a similar mysterious crying, not from the void, but from within the graveyard itself. A couple, visiting the cemetery during the day to take photographs, had heard the disembodied sobs emanating from the far end. Assuming it was a grieving woman, they had respectfully left her to her sorrow. However, as they drove past the graveyard later, they saw no one. Their own research led them to the same chilling conclusion: it was the spirit of the witch. The questions lingered, haunting their thoughts. Had they truly encountered the same tormented spirit? Had she singled out Aaron and that snicker? Was it a taunt, a trap, or something far more sinister? The night had left them with more questions than answers, a lingering chill that refused to dissipate.